And we are live again one more time on this thing we call the worldwide internet web thingy. And we appreciate you being here. 8 years ago this night, we held our inaugural tour called Strange Journeys, January 31st, 2015, in downtown Mobile, Alabama. And that's where all of this started. Lynn and I led that tour for a few years until we decided to take our journey in a brand new direction. And on May 16th, 2020, we went live with Strange Journeys live stream podcast. And the rest, as they say, do you want to take a trip into the unknown, into the unseen, the unexplainable, and the unbelievable? Join our strange journeys. Are you ready? Hello again, folks. We are live again, Strange Journeys. I'm Tom, your ghost host, and that is Selena over there with us, one of the ETs tonight. We tried to get more ETs to come in tonight, but she's the only one that made it so far. So hopefully some others will be jumping in here because we're going to have fun tonight. That's all. That tonight is about fun. It's not about creepy, strange stories. It's about fun. But remember that we provide these shows first and foremost for you, the watchers, for your entertainment. We are not by any means and do not claim to be scholars or experts in any of the topics that we choose to cover, as you will see tonight. We are simply enthusiasts and storytellers who have fun with these topics while doing our best to respect individual beliefs. And remember, this show is live except for our pre recorded segments. Nothing is rehearsed or edited out later. What you see is what you get. That's why you're getting some of these videos I'm going to show you tonight, the little clips. All right. The last show we did was last Tuesday night on High Strangeness on the Boo Boo Bus. And Selena was there with us. Weren't you? No.
I
No,
didn't get to make that
no.
one.
You were on the previous one.
Yes,
Yeah, with your um sister from another mister.
that's right.
That
My twin
yeah,
doppelganger.
Teresa. And yeah, from West Virginia. My headphone cord got tangled up somewhere. I was about to pull my head back. Um yes, but did you get to watch last week's show yet?
Not yet,
Okay.
but I do want to. I
Um
will be watching it
Oh
definitely.
wow, we had so much fun with that show because, of course, Beth is a current EMT, and Dagny was one for about 7, 8, 9 years, something like that, in
Oh wow.
Chicago, of all places.
Oh boy,
And so they've seen some things,
I'm sure
and
she has.
yeah, and so they had a lot of fun, and we found some really creepy stories online that we shared as well. But them
Cool.
sharing their personal experience, and we ended the show with that one. That I mean, they are EMTs, but we opened it up to first responders, whether it be
Mm.
EMT, fire, or police, that kind of thing. We ended the show with a tale that was just creepy. This deputy goes out late in the evening to this old woman's house because she hears somebody on the back of her property, and he
Uh-huh.
goes out by himself, and he goes back into the woods behind her house, and he
Sure.
finds an abandoned tent, and there's nobody there. Looked like they hadn't been there in a while. As he turns to leave, he just gets enveloped in a shroud of darkness. He said it was just like a sheet of just pure blackness fell over him,
Oh
and
wow.
he was trying to pull it off of him, and he couldn't get it off of him because there was nothing there. It was just pure darkness. His He said his light, his flashlight. I mean, he never said that it quit, but he said that it would not pierce that darkness. His flashlight
Oh
was just
wow.
completely shrouded in darkness, and he's he said he almost had a panic attack, but it sounded like he did, trying to rip whatever this was off of him and trying to get out of there. And he finally gets out of it and gets back to the house. And he before he goes back up to the house, he said he composes himself and says he don't want to be freaked out when he goes to the lady that owns the place.
Hmm.
So he's going up there and he says, I found this tent. It was abandoned. Nobody's been there a while. And she said, can you remove it? And he said, I politely declined.
I wouldn't go back there either.
He's like, I'm
Wow.
not going back there.
Uh-uh.
He said he got back in his truck trying to figure out what was going on and called in that it was clear, and said about a half hour later the lady called back again, but he refused to take that call. He said another deputy went out there. I mean, it was a lot of fun. We had a blast. um, so y'all go back and watch that one. That one was so much fun. Now, to remember, you can support the show through Patreon, PayPal, Venmo, or Cash App. Well, yeah, PayPal, Venmo, Cash App. Yeah, I'm trying to remember all of them. I'm going to keep them scrolling down there. Patreon is a monthly commitment. If you want to drop 5, 10, 15, $20 a month on what we do, we certainly appreciate it, and we can use all the help we can get. But if you're not into a monthly commitment and just want to drop some change when you're watching the show, you can do that at the PayPal, Venmo, or Cash App. And there's what you look for: paypal.me strange journeys, Venmo at strange journeys, Cash App $strange journeys. So I'm going to leave that running through the show tonight, and you can also go to strangestuff.live. You'll find those links everywhere, and buy you some merch. You can buy your Strange Journeys t-shirt, you can buy your Watchers t-shirt, Strange Journeys pillows, Strange Journeys mug, just all kind of merch. Just you know, to well, my mind's going blank. You can help us promote the show.
Right.
you know, and I think we even have those 20-ounce tumblers now. I'd have to go back and check. Or
Oh,
30-ounce
cool.
tumblers. I'd have to go back and check. So check out strangestuff.live. Now, tonight, because it is our 8th anniversary, and 8 is very lucky in a lot of cultures.
Mhm.
Some cultures it is the luckiest number, and so we've just hit number 8 because we started in 2015, or we're going into our 8th year. But tonight, we're going to look back at our first season doing the show. Um, because in 2020, in May, we're coming up on our 3rd anniversary of starting the show. And so between now and then, I'd like to do we're doing season 1 tonight, then do season 2, then season 3, then season 4, and season 5. Hopefully we can get those in before May 16th, and maybe May 16th will be our season 5 one. I don't know yet. But I want to look back at some of these and just have fun with it, because we had fun doing it. I
Oh yeah.
mean, Selena, you've been on some of the shows, and you know how much fun they are, and
Oh
we
yeah.
enjoy it. Now, one of the most popular shows from our first season was our Phantom Phone Calls, and I've got a couple of clips from that show. And I mean, you can find it on our YouTube channel under Revisited. The Phantom Phone Calls Revisit. It's in 2 parts. And I had come across where I'd started this new job sometime before or right after I started this show. Well, actually, just before I started this show, because I just hit 3 years at work and we're coming up on 3 years on the show. So, my new job, they gave me a desk phone, just like any other desk phone. You know, you can transfer calls and all that kind of good stuff.
Yeah.
And it, like any other desk phone, it has voicemail. And I would come in and I would have 2 or 3 voicemails overnight. And some of the weirdest, strangest phone calls were coming into my phone. Um, I mean, we had one, you could hear an old steam train chugging by on my voicemail. How did that?
Oh, wow.
I heard a um, uh, a motorcycle. It was either a motorcycle or a chainsaw. It was just that little 2-cycle motor kind of thing, and stuff like that. You could hear a horse trotting by, the clop clop of its hooves, and the 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 tack as it's jingling. You could hear
Mhm.
that on these voicemails. We had somebody singing in what sounded like Arabic. I mean, I was just getting all these weird
Oh,
calls.
crazy.
And so we did a show called Phantom Phone Calls based on those shows. We had some others, which Beth had one. But this first clip is where I just played one of those because I made them into little videos, because I would take my phone and video the phone. I put it on speakerphone, and then I would video my phone, and that's how I recorded it. And so I put little opening, closing on each of those and played it. But I had just played one, and this is what happened.
Hmm?
I had trouble hearing it.
Well, turn it up.
I did.
And just having some fun with Dagny there. It's like, she had her face right up in their camera, and she said, I can't hear it. Well, turn it up. So, let's see, we got another one. Yeah, we've got another one of those coming up of Dagny on that same show. But we started a series there. I think we finished it in our second season. But we started a series in that first season called Did You Hear That? And it was on ghost hunting. And the very first show was Ghost Hunting 101. And we had Kent Rasmussen from Salem Paranormal out of Salem, Oregon, with us as our guest, because he had just done in his podcast Ghost Hunting 101. And so I was telling them I didn't want to do another show called Ghost Hunting 101 because he had just done it and other folks have done the same thing. And I said, I wanted to call it one of the catchphrases. Did you hear that? And I asked, what is the other questions that we always hear in ghost hunts? What's the other question that's always seems to be always used? Oh, come on, guys. Is there anyone here with us?
I'm here. Sorry.
Yeah. No, that's the question.
Oh.
She acted like I had done that to her on purpose. If I'd have been there, she'd have got me with those claws. Did you see that? She was. And all the other guys were like, "What's that? The thing they do in texting now, SMH."
Oh yeah, shaking my head
because they were like, "Oh, come on, Christine." She was a hoot.
That's funny.
Gosh, I'm trying to remember what show this was, but Beth had an opportunity and has done it the past 2 years. But Beth has been involved with this haunted attraction over in Hurley, Mississippi for the past couple of years. And so we were having we had her sign on one day during a show and interview the guy that was over it and that put it all together. And we just wanted to have a little fun with Beth while we did that. And how mean is Beth?
Very mean. I'll tell you. Very mean.
Very mean.
He was careful with his words.
That's right, but he had to agree. She was very mean, but she was cackling in the background. Did you hear her?
I heard her.
she thought that was fun. But yeah, he said it with a smile on his face, so he was having fun as well. Now, on one of our ghost hunting shows, we had it was called Gadgets, and we had Al Luna from PSEI, Paranormal Spirit Encounter Investigations, and we had Darren Huff with Ghost Hunting Source. Now, Al uses gadgets all the time, and he was able to talk fluently about gadgets he'd used. Darren not only uses them, but he has this Ghost Hunting Source where you can actually purchase equipment
Okay,
through
he's on
his
the store.
website. Yeah.
Okay.
So he's gotten familiar with it by using it, but then he turns around and sells it too. So if why am I walking up?
I don't know.
I noticed that I keep freezing. So I guess I need to make sure Lynn's not doing anything in there like she did before. had the show on the TV, a tablet, and her phone, and going
wow.
while I'm trying to stream live.
Everything.
That was a lot of fun. Oh yeah, and I kept just disappearing out of the show, and Lewis just kept on. Wait, you were on that show, weren't you?
I think I was,
I
yes.
think that was Highway 29. Yeah. But
I
yeah,
think so, yes.
yeah, I don't know what's going on there. Okay, we're getting a good signal now. But anyway, during this ghost hunting show, we were talking about gadgets, and I started the show with a word called Audinautin. This word Audinautin means basically to exaggerate. And you know, I had been explaining that and talking about how that happens so much in ghost hunting. You know, if a breeze comes by, then people have been known to report, well, it was like a gale force wind knocked me down, you know.
Yeah.
And you know, if you've heard it before in ghost hunting, where people tend to exaggerate
I do.
what happened. And so I was cautioning against that using the word Audinautin, and Beth was watching and came back on with this a few minutes later. So let's see. Oh, Beth, I thought Beth was talking to me. She said, "Don't be a drama queen." I'm like, what? Where was I thought she was talking about me, but she was talking about Audinautin. Exactly, Beth. Don't be a drama queen. And so, I mean, that encapsulated the word pretty well. Don't be a drama queen. But when she put it up there, we had already gone on to something else. We were talking about something else entirely, and she popped up, "Don't be a drama queen." I'm like, what did I do? I thought at first, it took me a second, and you saw me hesitate. I'm sitting there looking at it like, what? I was trying to think, when had I been a drama queen? and then
funny.
it hit me. And then it hit me. It was like, oh, she's talking about Audinautin. So
Audinautin.
yeah. Our second show. Now, if you've gone back and watched any of the first shows, you see how horrible they were. Because number one, I was learning the program, and we were all getting used to working with each other.
Yeah.
But but we were having fun anyway. But that was the main thing. It's kind of humbling to go back and watch, and you're like, what was I thinking? But anyway, during our second show, we were doing. It was technically the second half of our first show, which was Personnel Paranormal, where each of us were sharing a personal paranormal story. And let's see who was on this one. Andrea, Beth, and Christine. And I was just introducing the show, and I was having everybody say hello.
And yeah, everybody waves. Hey, in Mobile, they have the Azalea Trailmade wave, which is kind of a bent hand. Beth and Christine knows what I'm talking about. Andrea doesn't, but
The Azalea Trailmade wave. Christine had it down.
Yes, it's like how you do with the Queen. The Queen would do her wave.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. I think it's the same with the Azalea Trailmaids, because
I think so.
they have to hold their hand a certain way. They're trained to
Right.
wave.
Mhm.
They can't just go, hey, like Forrest Gump.
Oh God. No,
What was
they
it?
have to be professional and do
Yeah.
like I can't get it. Do the
Yeah.
little Queen wave.
Yeah, yeah. And like I said, not like that meme we all see, or that GIF where Forrest Gump is.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
More
can't
like
do that.
discontinuity.
Yeah, yeah. If you have seen Dagny on the show at any time, you know she's such a unique personality. She's an artist, so that should explain everything there.
True.
It's like when people look at my work history, I just say, "Hey, I'm a musician," you know.
Right.
And that explains everything. Dagny is an artist, a beautiful, wonderful woman, and just some. I mean, she works in so many different mediums. Last summer, she did an ice cream bus.
Oh, cool.
She designed and painted an ice cream bus, so she's worked in just about any medium, and she's done. Um, uh, a lot of times, this has happened. Oh God, several times. I can't remember how many times. Whatever the subject matter was while the show was going on, she was in the off to the side painting a small painting of the subject. And she
cool.
did Lay of the Land. She did Doppelgangers. She did, oh gosh, I don't remember. She did several of them. And we highlighted some on our Puckwudgie show last season. But in our Phantom phone call show, we had this one call that, well, I'm not going to play the phone call for you, but the aftermath as we're talking about it, it was just kind of cool. Dagny's response.
because of what we're doing here, but I heard like somebody dragging a body. Okay.
That's exactly what it sounded like. Not just a body, but a body in plastic.
Yeah, exactly.
I have
This
this
is getting
really
fun.
weird thing that I always tell people that I'm a sound interrogator. And I don't mean sound as in I make sense. I mean sound as in if I hear something, it doesn't matter how far away, I can nail down exactly what it is, who's doing it, how tall they are. I mean,
Yeah.
my kids like to play these games with me. Like they'll go in another room and make a noise with something, and I'll tell them exactly what it was and who touched it. And they're like, "How do you do that?" And that was a body being dragged in plastic.
I think so.
Wow.
She is certain that phone call was a body being dragged in plastic.
Oh my God.
And I mean, you'll have to go back and watch the show, folks, because that's what it sounded like to me. And I was just kind of like, well, I think it sounds like this. And Dagny was like, that's what it is.
She's adamant about it.
Yeah. And I'm like, did this come from experience or what? You know?
Who knows?
Have you actually done this before, Dagny? Come on. What are you not telling us, Dagny? You know what that sounds like. Okay. one of our favorite ETs who's not been able to be with us for a while. He's gone through some personal tragedies and issues. But Tommy was up in Tennessee. Now he lives in South Carolina. As a matter of fact, he's recently moved and he's working tonight, so he can't be with us. But I mean, he's one of our beloved ETs. People just love Tommy, and we've got a one of his favorite little goof ups coming up later. But this is one that you'll see why we love him. We had just watched we used to do in the first couple of seasons a strange sightings at the beginning of the show, and I cut that out because it was like we would be 30 or 40 minutes before we actually got to the topic of the show. So I started cutting back the last couple of seasons so that we get more of the show and less of the extra stuff. And Tim has mentioned that he misses the strange sightings, so we may have to figure out some way to bring that back. Maybe do a strange sightings show every now and then, but
Right.
we'll figure out something. But anyway, we had just watched one of a short little alien-looking thing walking around the porch of this little house, and this is what he was seeing.
On the other side, one part where the camera kind of zoomed in a little bit. He had some of the shortest arms you could ask for. It looked like a T-Rex almost.
Yeah.
T-Rex.
Tommy doing his T-Rex impersonation. Some of the shortest arms. He is so country. We love him dearly. And like I said, the best one of Tommy that we've talked about it just about every show since then is coming up. But another one that can't be on with us that much, Donnie Mills has been with us since the beginning. Able to come on every now and then, and he's come on at times and had some really truly creepy stories, personal experiences. But he's one of those that when he opens his mouth, you never know what's about to come out.
That's true. That's very true.
I love him to death. He's one of my dearest friends. But what were we talking about here? I don't remember, but we were doing ET updates, and I was like, what's going on with you? He's just had this open mic. Lynn and I had gone over to visit him at an open mic, and I shared a picture of when we went to see him.
Yeah, I did an open mic in Fairhope, and I've got 5 people that want me to start. I just got carpal tunnel surgery.
Yeah.
Those 2 sexy beasts. I'm getting my hands back, and
just if you've ever watched Donnie on the show, you know that's par for the course. It just, I mean, he's talking about his carpal tunnel surgery, been in asked to do open mic, and then just blurts out, "That's 2 sexy beasts." I've got the second part to that one coming up in a minute. But Donnie,
he's a character.
Oh God, he is. Love him to death. He's been going through some health issues here lately.
Yeah.
So we wish him the best and miss him on the show. Now, coming up is the one I was telling you about with Tommy. We were just starting the show. This was one of our very first shows. Tommy was having Wi-Fi issues at his house, so he would drive down to McDonald's or to the library in the little town in Tennessee where he lived and use their Wi-Fi. And we'd been sitting there, and he was talking on the phone to his son, and he didn't realize we had started the show. And in the beginning, I haven't said much about it to the ETs in the past couple of seasons, but I made some guidelines and some rules about when you're on camera. And these were all fresh in their minds, and you'll see what I'm talking about in just a second.
breaking up.
And we are live. Hey guys. We are live. Look at Tommy shucking the cigarette.
He looks up and his eyes pop up. He's like, "We're live," and then he's just like,
"Oops." He chunked it.
We have picked at him about that. That's one of the funnest moments on the show. And like I said, it may not be funny to most folks, but I had, going into the show, I'd been saying, okay, guys, there'll be no smoking. What were
Right.
some of the others? There's, be careful what's on your t-shirt. We don't want to advertise for other companies and stuff. If it's paranormal related, I don't care. Like Andrea and the Grave Hunter Society, that's their thing. So I don't mind them wearing Grave Hunter shirts. But, I had, kind of harped on this. Even we've got a private Facebook group for just the ETs that we rarely ever use because we use Messenger. But I even put the rules in there, what not to do on camera, what to do on camera, and this kind of thing. And that was one of them: no smoking. and he realized we were live, and he's like, "Whoa!" Excuse me, and just chunked it out the window. Oh boy, that was so much fun. You see, part of the reason we missed Tommy, we missed Donnie, these guys that haven't been able to be with us much in the past year or two. So we want you guys back.
Come back to light.
Yeah. Early on, I don't remember if this was the third, fourth, or fifth show. Well, it had to have been. Our third show was actually the first show with Lewis Powell, the fourth, where we highlighted his Southern Spirit Guide, and we told a bunch of stories. But I think this was probably the second show, and we were somewhere in the middle of it, and something weird happened. I'm just going to give you a paraphrased synopsis here. That during the summer of 1969, what happened? Hey, we have ghosts here, I guess, because my hand was not even on the mouse. I was sitting there like this. What are y'all doing to me? Woo! That was weird. Something was wanting to start the show over again. Like, okay, stop right there. Start all over. that was
wild.
freaky. That was the Stickman show. So that
weird.
had been 4 or 5. And yeah. I mean, I'm about to tell a story from Linda Gottfried, and that was in one of her books. I didn't get permission to share it. That's why I was saying I'm just going to give you a synopsis. I didn't get permission from her to read from her book, so I was just going to share the story in general. And I was literally sitting there holding that piece of paper down on my desk like this. My mouse was off over to the right, and I was just sitting there looking at it. And then, boom, our intro started.
Oh, that's crazy.
We were like, you saw everybody when I turned it off. Everybody was like, "What was that?"
They were all surprised.
Yeah, it caught us all off guard. We were just like, "This is crazy. What happened?" So I figured, well, a ghost, said, "Let's just start all over again." I don't know.
They took control.
I guess so. And back to our Phantom phone call show.
Yeah.
Like I said, you guys got to go watch that show. There's some weird phone calls on it. And what's funny is when I changed locations, I was in Spanish Fort, Alabama. They moved me to our Mobile store. It stopped. I've only gotten maybe 1 or 2 weird ones since then. And one of them I shared with our ETs a few months back. It was some weird language. I got in to work one morning. I had this voicemail, and it was some weird language, a woman talking a few sentences, and I'm like, what? And I've tried to run it through a translator, but it, I didn't get a good enough recording of it. But anyway, on this Phantom phone call show, I left this phone call in so that you can see what, and it was kind of, I'm not the type of guy that embarrasses, but it was just kind of awkward, if I can put it that way, because it was me and who was it? Andrea, I think Christine, and Dagny on this phone call. I left the phone call in this time.
Last one in this section.
Hey, okay, Andrew?
I think it's a day in the life of some guy.
No, filling the bottle sounded to me like.
Andrea embarrassed herself. Did you see that?
I did. She was turning red.
Yeah. And then when Christine caught on, she was like, ah. and Dagny just thought it was hilarious, you know. But I mean, it didn't sound like to me a guy relieving himself. It sounded like somebody running a water hose into a bottle or a jug or something. This is what it sounded to me like. But Andrea went there first. I'll just put it on her. I'll just put it on her. A day in the life of some guy.
Yep. I heard her.
Yeah, and she hadn't been able to be with us much here lately either. We miss you, Andrea. You can come on next time and talk about a day in the life of some guy. Okay. All right. Now, I told you about Donnie and how he was always saying I put up the picture of me and him at an open mic, and he said that's too sexy beast. Yep. And a few minutes later, I came back to it.
What he call us? What was that?
What was it?
What did you call us?
Lord, man, I can't remember what I ate for supper last night. I'm not sure.
I thought he called us too sexy beast. I don't know. I was just.
Yeah.
Yeah, what it was.
It'll make you Randy, baby.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah, he couldn't remember what he had for supper last night. Yeah, I mean, just to pick at him, I had to bring it back because he's just. I mean, I sit with him. We are out at a club or somewhere playing, and he's just cutting up all the time, and Lynn and I are just rolling laughing the whole time, and we had fun. In this next one, I remember what I say at every show. This is live. Mm-hmm. And nothing is rehearsed or edited, and anything can happen and usually has happened.
We're hoping to get Dagny to start designing some, but those are all designs that I come up with. But my Frank C's is just general stuff, that I've designed. And we hope you check those out. Maybe you'll like some of them. So, all right, suppositions, questions, comments. And Tim is taking a call. So, all right, we're back. It's live, folks. Live from our living rooms. You never know what's going to happen live.
My wife is calling from the bedroom.
Oh. Bring me my pillow.
His wife calling from the bedroom. He's on the show. His phone rings, so he mutes his mic. At least he did that. He has talked to other people in the room when his mic would be on, but he muted the mic. She's calling from the bedroom, and I was like, what, did she want her pillow back or something?
He made sure he answered that call.
Well, yeah, it's his wife.
His wife, right?
Yeah. I thought that was hilarious. Okay, Tim's taking a call. Well, all right. On our very first show, I asked Christine and Beth. I told them what my plans were for the show. It's our very. Actually, it wasn't our very first show. It was kind of like a. What's the word I'm looking for? A sneak peek, preview of what's coming up. And so we just signed on, talked for about an hour about what we were planning on doing. And our first official show was on May 16th of 2020. But about a week before we did this, and it was it was Christine and Beth on with me. And I asked them, well, what do you want to talk
What are
about?
some of the favorite topics, Christine and Beth, that y'all want to talk about in this series as we go throughout this?
What don't I want to talk about is easier to say.
Right?
And I mean, the look on Beth's face, like all of it, basically. Just we want to talk about what don't I want to talk about? So
She's interested in everything.
yeah. And so you're just like, don't pigeonhole me. You know, which she's got her favorites, I can tell you that, and that's come up several times. But let's see, we had a show. I think this was our. I'm wanting to say it was our Spirits on Stage show, which is our last show of the first season with Lewis. He came back because Lewis has a degree in theater. What do they call it? Theater science or whatever it's called, but that's what his degree is in.
Okay.
And he's been a professional actor at time, and he still acts and works in the theater a good bit. And so we wanted him back to get his expertise because not only does he know the theater, he knows about the paranormal and has written about the paranormal. And he has a whole section in his blog on haunted theaters. So we wanted to bring him in. We called it Spirits on Stage. But during our strange sightings portion of the show, 2 weeks before, there was a launch, a NASA launch, and Dagny was in and out of the show that day because she was watching the launch. But we found something was seen on one of the dorsal cameras on the rocket ship that went up, and we were talking about it on the show.
Oh.
Thoughts, everybody?
It was a weather balloon.
Must
That's
have
usually
been.
what they say.
Space gas or swamp gas. Well, I guess it would be space gas. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, what we saw was obviously not a weather balloon, but Donnie had to say, well, that's what I always call it, weather balloon, and that's when I chimed in the space gas.
Space gas, yeah.
Because they've said swamp gas before.
Right.
So that was a fun one. And then back at our Stickman show, Beware the Stickman. Now, this was a phenomena that was brought to us in our second show by Tim. No, he brought doppelgangers in the second show. But before we ever started this, he began talking about the Stickman. And I had seen pictures here and there, but didn't really know much about this cryptid or this paranormal entity called the Stickman. And a lot of the North American sightings started in Topeka, Kansas. And he talks about them on his tour. Now, we went and did some more research, found some more sightings around the U.S. of this two-dimensional, possibly stick figure that's seen. And then, was it last year or the year before, a local TV station wanted to interview Tim about some of the paranormal sightings in Topeka because he does the tours there, Ravenwind Tours. And so they came in and did a Halloween special, and he was featured in it. And they went back to shoot some B-roll and got these pictures. The production company got these on their B-roll, just going back downtown to shoot atmosphere. Do you see that in the middle of the picture?
I do. I see that.
And look at this one.
Oh, wow.
So, they were pretty excited. I can't see this one too well for some reason, but anyway, we got this one.
Right.
And I mean, this is my favorite though.
Yeah. That one's very, very blatant. It's very obvious.
So, but anyway, but we had already done our show, and we've come back and showed those things several times because they gave us permission to use them. And so, I love sharing them because those are just so phenomenal, especially when they're a production company. They're not looking for the paranormal. They're just shooting a Halloween special, just having fun with it. And all of a sudden they catch some things. Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, we were talking about the stick man and just having some fun with it. Why did the stick man cross the road?
That's a new one.
Yeah, wow. I was going to play another video.
That's a good cryptic too.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay, we got to come up with an answer. All right, I'm going to go back and play another.
Bigfoot.
There you go. Or the black hat man.
Right.
Yeah. Well, the story we had just told was about a stick man crossing the road, and I, why did the stick man cross the road? And Tim came up because he was going to see Bigfoot and maybe the hat man, and I'm like, well, we've got to come up with a better answer to that. Why did the stick man cross the road? So, all right, just a couple more, and we're going to close it out because we just wanted to have fun tonight. And Selena, you got to make fun of some of these folks around here.
Okay.
You weren't here during the first season,
No.
so you weren't with us, but so you have every right to make fun of them. All right.
Okay, I will.
In this next one, Tim decided he would have some fun. Beth was going to be on the show that night. Let's see, it was Christine, Andrea, Tim, Lynn, Beth, and myself. And Beth was having connection problem, but she had told me she had just gotten out of the shower and was rushing to get ready. And I said, well, please don't come onto the show with your hair up in a towel. Tim, show her what you got. Because
see, my hair's done, no towel.
Beth had sent us a message saying she was rushing, getting ready, and had to take a shower. So I said, please don't come to the show with a towel on your head. So when we signed on today, guess what Tim had on his head? And I said, save that for Beth.
Don't tempt me. Next time I will.
Looking good, Beth.
So, I need to remind her of that. Now, you said you were going to show up with a towel on your head. But all right. Huh?
You'll have to remind her so next time she will.
Yeah. Like, okay, Beth, you were supposed to show up with a towel on your head, and she hadn't done it yet. Which her being on the last show with the Boo Boo Bus, that was the first time in a while that she's been able to be on. We usually schedule these when she's working, but she's working tonight on the Boo Boo Bus. So
Boo Boo Bus, yes.
I wanted to close with one of Donnie's because this was one of the funniest things that ever happened in that first season. I mean, we've had some funny stuff happen throughout the 5 seasons we've been going, but this was probably the funniest to me in the whole first season. And we were talking about some different haunted things.
I've lived in 3 houses that were just downright evil, but I divorced each one of them, so
He just delivers it so deadpan. I have lived in 3 houses that were definitely evil, but I divorced each one of them. Oh God. They were downright evil. Well, Donnie, what does that say? You married 3 of them in a row, so what does that say about you?
He likes evil people.
Yeah. I don't know. But
he's a hoot.
Yes, we have so much fun on this show, guys. If you can't tell, after this show. That was the main thing I wanted to do, was just come on here and have fun, show you some of the fun that we've had. We've got more stuff from season 2 and season 3. And well, 4 and 5. Can y'all believe that? I mean, I haven't officially ended season 5, but it started a few months ago, and I have tried to end the seasons around the end of the year, but this one we just kept going. So we're not going to worry about all that, but we've got more fun stuff to come, more fun stuff to do, more strange journeys to take. And like I said, I want to do some more of these. What do they call it when you look back? The it's live, folks. I didn't have a speech prepared. Where we want to go back and just relive some of the highlights. And our next one will be season 2. We had some fun shows with Elizabeth, some fun shows with PSEI. The guy that said he drove the clown car for a living. I mean, that's we're going to show a clip of that and some of the other stuff that happened. And Will Elric, oh God, when he was on, that was a hoot. He's always a lot of fun. But be looking for those. Like I said, my goal is to do these reflective type shows, going back and just showing the fun times. I want to do season 2, season 3, and season 4 before we get to May 16th, which is will be our 3rd anniversary of being live. So so keep an eye out for those. We're going to have some other shows in between here and there. I'm still taking care of my mother, so a lot of my weekends are going to be tied up now. My little sister's been in town, so she's been staying with us, so I've had a little more free time. So starting this next weekend, I'm going to be extra busy with that, but I'll squeeze in some shows when I can. We thank you for being here. Thank you, watchers. Thank you, Selena, for laughing at these guys.
I enjoyed it. Thank you.
Hopefully we'll have some of yours to put on here soon.
I'm sure. We will.
Yeah. Well, watchers, thank you for watching, and we just ask that you stay safe on your strange journey. See you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.